Hey y'all, it's Hunter Elliott, rangehot.com. Hope everybody is doing well. I'm coming to you this afternoon with the Inland Advisor pistol. Now, right off the bat, you're looking at this and you're thinking, well, what in the world is it? Well, there's a little bit of history involved with this, and I'm going to go over it briefly. This is based off of an M1 carbine. So back in the Vietnam era, they had some U.S. advisors, and what they did is they was taking the M1 carbine and cutting the barrel down and cutting the shoulder stock off. And they were using that, in areas to where it was maybe even a little bit tough to wield a carbine. The thing is, though it was done, field expediently, there was never an official M1 carbine pistol issued to any military forces. So what Inland has done is they've created their advisor, and it's based off their paratrooper, obviously without the folding stock. Now this is classified as a pistol, but if you were looking to get something like this as an SBR, you can always file for your tax stamp, and then once all your paperwork comes in and you're good to go, you can always attach the stock if you wanted to, and have the M1 advisor to play with until then. But anyway, that's just kind of like a little bit of understanding about where this idea comes from. So we've had this for a little while now. There's some things about it I did like, and there's some things I didn't like. Let's go over it. Initially, when we got it, it ran pretty well, but we were having a few malfunctions here and there, and so it got to the point where I was a little bit concerned. So I did send it back to Inland for them to take a look at it, and they got it back to me pretty quick in about 3 weeks. Since I got it back, I've run between 350 rounds or so of various types of 30 carbine through it and had zero problems. The way I look at that is, it does suck to have to send a gun back. But if you get something and you're having some issues with it and you can send it to the manufacturer and they can get it back to you right away and the problem's corrected, in my opinion, that's not really that big of a deal. We're all human and nobody's perfect. Talk a little bit about the features going from front to back, and then we'll see where we're at. So starting here at the pistol grip, it's not really a pistol grip. It's more like grabbing like a 4x4. It's kind of blocky, but like I said, this is based off the paratrooper model. So kind of a blocky pistol grip. Moving here to the trigger guard. Trigger broke pretty good at right at 6 pounds. You do have a manual bolt hold open, but you can see here it's not a loaded mag. When you run the mag dry, it does not lock the bolt to the rear, and when you push the magazine release, the mag falls out just fine. Up here at the top, you do have a adjustable rear aperture type sight. Front here, you do have a fixed front blade, and it's also protected by the 2 wings. And to allow correct sighting, you do have this trough, but I would have liked to see maybe a little bit more wood removed from this trough, because as it sits now, when you sight it in, you can see about half the blade. And I was thinking, maybe if they removed a little bit more wood, you'd get a little bit better sight picture. But that really didn't affect accuracy. We took this thing out at 25 yards and shot it from a rest, and actually got some really good groups. Some of them were measuring, inch and a half. If you're curious about all the ammunition that we shot and the actual groups that it printed, as always, there's a chart on rangehot.com with all that information, as well as a lot more of the technical information on this particular carbine. Moving toward this conical shaped flash hider, though it is very simple, it worked really well. This barrel is threaded 1/2 by 28. If you do decide to put a silencer on it, you need to call the manufacturer of the silencer and ask them, hey, was this rated for a 30 carbine with a 12-inch barrel? I run a couple different silencers from Liberty suppressors, and this thing is a hell of a lot of fun when you suppress it. Now, 30 carbine is supersonic, but it still was pretty hearing safe. Now, when you go from the 16-inch barrel of the M1 carbine down to this 12-inch barrel, you do lose right around 200 feet a second. It does have 2 different sling attachments, and that worked well to help it if you wanted to sling it or whatever. And then moving down here, it does have the push button type magazine release. It ships with a 15-round detachable box magazine, but the 30-round magazines for the M1 carbine also work well in this. So you've got a couple options for mags. You're probably asking yourself, like I asked myself, what good is it? Well, home defense, self-defense, I could see that, as well as, look at it as the novelty of it. It's a lot of fun to shoot. We enjoyed it. It's definitely different. It's loud, but there's no recoil. So, we had a lot of different people shooting it with all different skill levels. And the one thing everybody said was, well, that's a hell of a lot of fun to shoot. So, there is something to be said in that. It's an interesting piece of history that was never officially recognized as history, if that makes any sense. So that's about it in a nutshell. Looking at the novelty of it, it's a lot of fun to shoot and would serve well, maybe as personal defense, home defense. but I think the fun factor in this is pretty high. There's a lot I did like about it, a couple things that I did not, but still I don't think any of those were real deal breakers. So that's really about it. If you got any questions or comments, you can find us on, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, Pinterest. We do the social media gamut. Let me know what you think, good, bad, right, or wrong. You got any questions or comments? You did like it, you didn't like it, you thought it sucked. I love feedback, good and bad, because you know what? That's how I continue to make things better. So I really appreciate y'all reading the articles. Thank you for watching the videos and commenting. I appreciate all the good feedback. Looks like we're getting ready to get a storm, y'all, so I think I'm going to go in the house, seek shelter, and locate a bottle of bourbon whiskey. So take care of yourselves and each other, and I look forward to seeing you at the range.